Hi, welcome to Craft Little Things. I'm Andrea. Thanks for joining me today. It's a bit of a rainy old day today, and I was inspired by the rain. It's a long story. I'll try and make it short. It was raining and I thought if it wasn't for rain we wouldn't have nice green land to live in, so it started making me think about the countryside. So I thought, oh, I'll make a countryside themed card. And this is what I made. I'm not very good at this sort of thing, and I realised that the trees are quite disproportionate. This looks more like a bush. I think if I'd have brought this forward and made this a bush and put some trees in the background, it would have been better. But a couple of people have seen this lying around in my craft room and said, oh, that's pretty. So it's not that bad if somebody else likes it, and they're not the type of people who'd be kind. It's my daughter. Any mother knows that if you want the truth, have a daughter, because they will definitely tell you the truth. Yeah, so she wouldn't just say that if she didn't mean it. Yeah, but a couple of people have seen it and said it's nice. So I thought I'd show you that. I did film myself making it because before I made this one, I made, get ready for this, ta-da! That horror. What a shocking card that is. But I simplified it and made that one. Oh dear, the other one was just too bad. I wasn't going to show anyone it, but thought, oh well, why not? Anyway, so then I was thinking about gardening and all sorts of things, and I remembered I had this lovely set here which I'd gotten on a magazine. It's all been pulled to pieces now. It's called In the Garden. I don't even know what magazine it was on, but it had an embossing fold, this lovely little flower fall, kind of waterfall effect, flower falling effect. It had a few dies in it, this daisy and the leaf and the grass and the centre of the daisy, and it had some stamps, this little trellis, plant pots and boots, all sorts of bits and bobs. So I thought, oh, I'll use that, and I used the inspiration on there, kind of more or less cased one of the cards on it. So what I've done is I've got all my bits and bobs ready, but I've made several cards, but I haven't made them up yet. So I've got all the bits and bobs for several cards. So I thought I'd make them up on camera. So the first one is going to be this one that's kind of cased from the backing really of the little set, and I'm using all Stampin' Up papers, cardstock here. So all my Stampin' Up supplies are going to be used, and tools. So I'm just going to burnish that. Now I want to emboss Be Happy from the set onto the front, and I got it, I just made a total mess of it. So I changed my mind and I went with Thankful Thoughts, which is the stamp set of the moment for me, at the moment, because that's why it's a stamp set at the moment. Just to he doesn't cry, I just want to cry. So I just heat embossed the word thanks onto the card there. I didn't randomly do it. What I did first was, my cards are 6x4, so it's an 8x6 piece scored on the long side at 4. And then I got a piece of, I think it's powder pink. It might not be powder pink actually, it's a bit too pink for powder pink. Powder pink's a bit off pink. Could be Blushing Bride. And I got a piece of Very Vanilla which measures 5 3/4 by 3 3/4, and I ran it through my embossing machine with that beautiful fold, and look how lovely that is, that embossing. And then I also cut out an oval using a stitch shape oval, I think it's the largest one, and then I worked out where I needed, I just held it like this and I just embossed the thanks where I wanted it to go, which is just at the bottom of that. Okay, so I'm ready to stick this on now, so I'm just going to stick this directly on. I'm going to use Tombow, and the reason I'm not using tape is because of the relief on the embossed part of the card. I kind of like my glue to soak into the relief, so I'm just going to pop that. Do you know what, that happens to me all the time, and it's how I always end up with everything out of kilter. I'm just going to pop that on. That'll be easy to cover up, because what I can do is I can just stick a little label with the Stampin' Up logo or something on the back, or my own logo on the back to cover that up. Right, and then what I did was I took this little daisy die and the little circle, which is like a tiny stitch circle, and I cut out two of the same cardstock. I cut two out each and joined them together, sort of offset them to give them a bit more substance. So I made 3 flowers, so I cut out 6 of the flowers and 3 of the inner sort of centerpieces. I cut out one of the leaf shapes. If you look at that, that's got a little bit of stitching on the leaf as well. It's really cute. And I cut out 2 of the grass, and I cut these out of, I think it was Old Olive, it might have been Garden Green cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick these across the bottom of my card. There were nearly 2 of those, nearly was the right width for the card, but I just had to cut a little snippet off. I've had to leave the door open so the dog can go in and out, but he doesn't want to go in and out. He just wants to sit and cry, because my other dog is on heat, and so my male dog is just beside himself. He can't cope. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these on with dimensionals. So I'm just going to get my dimensionals. If you're not sure what dimensionals are, they're Stampin' Up's little foam sticky pads, but they're a hexagonal shape, and that means they fit into corners nicely, they fit behind things nicely. And then I'm going to take my little leaf, I'm just going to put some glue on that. I'm going to have that just come in around under the thanks there. Okay, and I'm going to take pads off the first one there, especially if you splodge some glue out like I did, it'll cover that up. If you do splodge a bit of glue out, don't worry, it'll dry. And then one up there, and then one coming over the top there, and that's it. That's the card. That's all there is to it. And how pretty is that? So that's my first card. I'll put that to one side and I'll do another one. Now for my second one, I thought, I wanted to use a couple of the elements. I wanted to use the watering can, and there's a sentiment, and there's the 4 little flower stamp that is so cute. So again, I wanted to keep it really simple, so I want the same sort of cardstock, I want very vanilla cardstock, 6x4 again, and this is such a simple card. Then I got a 4 3/4 by 5 3/4 piece of the pink cardstock, which I'm going to layer on there. And then just really, really, really super simple, I'm going to use dimensionals again. Oops, which was, yeah, I went with the green one in the end. I had a couple of attempts at this. So pop the dimensionals on the back, and then peel them off. And this watering can is going to sit sort of in the middle of my card there. Very simple card this. I've just stamped on the watering can and I've used an aqua blender just to blur in the green. I used garden green ink, and then I used Blushing Bride ink to stamp Bloom from Within, and then I used garden green again, but I used Blushing Bride just to colour the flower heads, and I just blended in the green from the edge for the leaves, and at each piece I just dipped in the pink ink just to edge it off. Oops, got half a dozen dimensionals there. And all I'm doing is I'm just sticking these on. Now these pieces just measure sort of 1 inch by 2 3/4. Ish. That one measures 1 inch by 2 3/4. That one measures 1 inch by 2 7/8, and that one measures 2 3/8 square. Okay, so there we go, and that's that card. That is it. That's all there is to it. Finished. Beautiful card. I just thought it was really pretty. And it says Bloom from Within. So that's that one. That's my first one and my second one. These are nice and simple to do as thank you cards for customers, or to send out as racks to people. So here's my next one. This one again is a 6x4. This time it's a landscape, and I'm starting off with a Whisper White base. This is just a regular Whisper White, and then I've got a basic black piece which was 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. It was a rectangle, and I just cut it from corner to corner. So I'm just gonna glue that on. Like so. And then what I wanted to do was use a piece of this beautiful lemon lime twist ribbon, the organdy ribbon. So how I'm going to attach that is I'm going to just get a tape pen, just so it doesn't show up and it's easier to glue the ribbon down. I'm just going to run that along there. Make sure I've got it where I want it. Oops. And just pull that across. This is the reason I like a tape pen with ribbon, because it does give you a minute to just get it out, and you can't see the tape at all. And then what I use is a pair of embroidery scissors just to trim my ribbon rather than paper scissors, because embroidery scissors just do a better job. And then I have a sentiment here. I use stitch shaped ovals, the smallest two, Whisper White and a black one, and I'm just going to glue that on. So I'm just going to glue that onto there, and I just stamped Be Happy from this set using basic black ink. And then I'm just going to use a couple of dimensionals again, just to attach that. I'm going to pop that there. in the white section. And then in the black section, and I've got 6 white of the die cut daisies, which I've just cut out of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm just going to glue them up, put a bit of glue in the middle of each one. And then I'm just going to pop the little stitched circle in to the centre. And then I'm going to pick it up. You can use tweezers if you want, they're quite delicate. I'm just going to offset it so that we've got a nice full flower. Like so. These are pretty. It's going to be nice when we get, in the new catalogue, there's a small daisy punch. This is quite similar to the daisy that we already have a punch for. In the new Stampin' Up catalogue there's a smaller version of the daisy punch. The daisy punch is a very popular tool in the Stampin' Up offering. So I'm just going to pull all those up, not all of them, just every other one, just to give it a bit of dimension. Okay, and then I'm going to use dimensionals to attach them to my card again. So we're using lots of dimensionals in these cards. These are like $3.25 and you get, I think, 4 sheets, 3 or 4 sheets. They're really good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop these on. That's it, that's my card. Be happy. Really, really simple card. So there, it's quite different to the other two, but using similar techniques. Sorry, my dogs have just gone crazy. Now the last one, try and do the last one without the dogs destroying the video. We've got, it's very, very simple. We've got a Whisper White base again, 6x4, scored 6x8, scored at 4 on the long side. And then I've got a piece of DSP. This is just from a random stacker I had in my stash. I just thought this was a cute, it's like a variated purple shade. And then what I've done is I've taken the stamps from that set and I've stamped Take It Easy in Gorgeous Grape, and I stamped out the little boots, and I stamped the little bird perched on the boots, and I did that in Night of Navy. And then I used Calypso Coral for the terracotta plant pots, and I used some basic black and basic grey just to colour the trowel and the spade in, and the little fork in. And yeah, I just coloured the dots in with Gorgeous Grape as well. And then I cut it all out. I did it on Whisper White and I cut it out using the large stitch shaped framelit again. And then I've got some of this Gorgeous Grapefruit Grove organdy ribbon, which hopefully I'm going to be able to turn into a bow. So what I'm hoping, I'm not going to do it a proper bow, I'm just going to wrap it around my cardstock. I'm going to put it about there on the darker side, and I'm just going to tie it a couple of times in a nice tight knot, instead of doing a proper bow. I'm just going to have a little whimsy sort of bow like that. Bit going one way and a bit going the other. And then I'm just going to glue that onto my card base. Get some glue on the ribbon. And this, again, I said it's 6 by 4, and my DSP is 5 7/8 by 3 7/8. That's just going to stay loose, my ribbon. You could, if you wanted to, you could glue it down. Maybe put a glue dot on it, I'm not going to bother. And then my little oval, you guessed it. That's where I was going to do something else. I was practicing making some DSP out of the boots. And then I'm just going to take that off, and this is, again, the Grapefruit Grove went nice with this paper, and I thought the Gorgeous Grape went nice with this paper, and I just thought the Grapefruit Grove then add in and just stick that on there. I'm not sure that's straight, let me just, hopefully I've got long enough to get it straight. There we go. And that's it, as simple as that. Take it easy. And that's a really simple card. So there are 4 cards using that set. Really quick and easy cards to make. Quite different as well. That one is anyway. Sorry. So yeah. Hope that's inspired you to go out, and then you could send them to as racks to people, random acts of kindness, and it hasn't taken you a lot of time. You've given some thought and some prep, and I'm sure anybody would be delighted to receive one of those, and 4 people are going to receive those from me. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.